Bitcoin. It's the digital doubloon, the crypto darling, Look, it's a digital currency that some people are convinced will change the world. But right now, it's about as stable as a newborn giraffe on roller skates. If you're considering pouring your hard-earned cash into Bitcoin, you might want to hold on to your pickaxe for a minute. Today, we're diving into 5 reasons why hitting the brakes on Bitcoin might be the smartest financial decision you make all week. Let's be clear, I understand the allure of Bitcoin. The promise of decentralized finance, sticking it to the man, maybe even becoming a Bitcoin millionaire overnight, it's undeniably tempting. But before you empty your bank account chasing that crypto dream, let's talk about the elephant in the blockchain. Or should I say, the 5 elephants. First up, let's address the Bitcoin elephant in the room, the one wearing a bright neon sign flashing volatility. Bitcoin's value fluctuates more than my attention span during a timeshare presentation. One minute, it's soaring higher than a SpaceX rocket. The next, it's plummeting faster than a lead balloon full of bad investment advice. Remember, late 2021? Bitcoin was on top of the world, flirting with $68,000 a coin. Fast forward to 2022 and Bitcoin crashed harder than a stockbroker learning about index funds, bottoming out at $16,000. This kind of volatility isn't a one-time thing, it's practically baked into Bitcoin's DNA. It's driven by speculation, hype, and the occasional tweet from someone with more Twitter followers than common sense. For those who prefer their financial journeys a little less like a roller coaster designed by a caffeinated squirrel, Bitcoin's volatility is a major red flag. So before you bet your financial future on Bitcoin's unpredictable swings, ask yourself this. Are you comfortable with the very real possibility of losing a significant chunk of your investment? Let's move on to our next elephant, the one decked out in a cowboy hat, refusing to sign any regulatory paperwork because yes, we're talking about the lack of regulation in the crypto sphere. Now, I understand the appeal of a decentralized financial system, free from the meddling hands of governments and banks. But here's the thing about the Wild West. It was chaotic, unpredictable, and often ended badly for anyone who wasn't a wealthy landowner or a gunslinger with a knack for avoiding bullets. And sadly, the unregulated world of cryptocurrency isn't too different. Without proper oversight, it's a breeding ground for scams, fraud, and the kind of shady dealings that would make a used car salesman blush. Remember FTX? It was once the darling of the crypto exchange world, valued at billions, endorsed by celebrities who should have known better. Then, in 2022, it imploded faster than a marshmallow in a vacuum cleaner, leaving investors holding the bag, which, unfortunately, was full of worthless digital tokens, not actual cash. The crypto landscape is littered with the wreckage of failed exchanges, rug pulls, and Ponzi schemes. The lack of regulation makes it incredibly difficult to separate the legitimate projects from the get-rich-quick schemes. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, only the haystack is on fire, and the needle is also on fire, and everyone's wearing blindfolds made of optimism and blockchain hype. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room with a massive carbon footprint. Bitcoin's environmental impact. The fact is, Bitcoin mining consumes an absurd amount of energy. We're talking about more electricity than entire countries like Argentina. Bitcoin mining involves countless computers around the world, competing to solve complex mathematical problems to add transactions to the blockchain. It's like a global digital puzzle competition, only the prize is a handful of Bitcoin, and the energy bill could power a small city for a year. And where does all this energy come from? Well, a significant portion still relies on fossil fuels, particularly coal. Now, there's a lot of talk about transitioning to renewable energy sources for Bitcoin mining, and that's great, but we're not there yet. And even if we were, the sheer amount of energy required is still a major concern. So, if you're concerned about the environment, Bitcoin's environmental impact should give you serious pause. It's like trying to be an eco-warrior while simultaneously funding the construction of a new coal-fired power plant. The cognitive dissonance is deafening. Now, let's address the elephant holding a half-eaten bag of magic beans: Bitcoin's limited real-world use. Proponents love to tout Bitcoin as the future of money, the currency that will revolutionize how we transact. But here in the real world, Bitcoin's adoption as a medium of exchange is about as widespread as common sense at a political rally. Sure, you can technically buy some things with Bitcoin, like a Tesla, if you have enough Bitcoin to make Elon Musk blush, or a pizza, if you're willing to part with a small fortune for a slice. But for everyday transactions, Bitcoin is about as practical as a screen door on a submarine. Transaction speeds can be glacial, especially during peak times when the network is congested, and don't even get me started on the fees. During peak periods, transaction fees can be higher than the cost of the actual item you're trying to buy. Right now, it's more of a speculative asset, a digital gold rush, than a practical currency for everyday use. Now, let's talk about the final elephant in the room, the one wearing a sensible cardigan and holding a diversified investment portfolio: the fact that there are better investment options out there than Bitcoin. Look, I get it, the allure of striking it rich with crypto is strong. But while you're busy chasing those volatile crypto dreams, there's a whole world of investment opportunities out there, many of which offer more stability, less risk, and yes, potentially even better returns in the long run. Let's talk about index funds, for example. They're like the reliable station wagon of the investment world. Not flashy or exciting, but they'll get you where you need to go. Or how about real estate? They're not making any more land, as the saying goes, and while real estate can fluctuate, it's generally considered a more stable investment than cryptocurrency. Plus, you can live in a house, you can't live in a Bitcoin. And let's not forget about good old-fashioned stocks. Yes, the stock market can be volatile, but it's also been around for centuries, and it's backed by real companies generating real profits. So there you have it. 5 reasons why you might want to reconsider jumping headfirst into the Bitcoin bandwagon. Look, I'm not saying Bitcoin is inherently bad, or that it won't have a place in the future of finance. Maybe one day it will be as stable and widely accepted as traditional currencies. But that day is not today. Right now, Bitcoin is still a highly speculative asset, prone to wild swings in value, plagued by regulatory uncertainty, and with a carbon footprint bigger than some small countries. Before you invest your hard-earned money in Bitcoin, or any investment for that matter, do your research, understand the risks, and consider whether it aligns with your financial goals and risk tolerance. And remember, there are plenty of other investment options out there that might be a better fit for your financial well-being. The choice, as always, is yours.